Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, New York, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday, Walk on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Walk on Wednesday is a day where we bring on a guest or two, people that we think are sort of cool, that we like, and we pick their brain for 5 or 10 minutes. And before we introduce them, just want to say good morning, Kastuba. How are you? You're a little under the weather, aren't you?
Still a little under the weather.
But you're showing up.
I'm showing up.
But you're showing up, and I like you for that. I appreciate
Thank you.
that.
But I got to shake this. Hey, you showed up. You showed up in the hospital. So this is nothing.
Yeah, that was better. That was better than
You had like a tube in your nose and everything.
I had a tube in my nose. If I show up with a tube in my nose, that means I really want to do the show.
Okay.
I don't think I did want to do the. Did you
I
hear
was
what she
pushing
just
you?
said?
What?
I had nothing else to do. What was he going to go play badminton? No. I think it was a cross between I got to show up for everybody, and I might die today. I'm going to show
Better
up.
do the show.
I better do the show. Yes. Yeah.
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 All right.
Actually, I want to go back and listen to those shows where I was in the hospital. I think I did a couple of them.
That was sometime like September
October, I think. October
of
2021.
2022.
No, 2021.
2021.
21. Okay, let's search those
You had
out.
COVID,
Sure.
right? It's got it so bad you're in the hospital.
Are you kidding? I kissed my kids goodbye because they wouldn't let you see your kids. Kids
Yeah.
weren't allowed to. It's like, why? Like, you came to the hospital. Other people came to the hospital. But my kids couldn't come.
They're gonna make me
Vaccine, maybe they're.
They were like, no, just go ahead.
I know. It's like, wait a second. My children can't see me, but this
Okay, Raghunath,
random
we don't need a
woman can
rant
come
about
without a
post-COVID
hazmat
rant.
suit with a loaf
Easy.
of bread she baked.
Easy. Why don't we check in for announcements? Mary's looks
Miss
like she
Mara,
got something.
what do we do?
We have Bhakti recovery group meetings at 1 and 9:30 p.m. Eastern time. And this Thursday at Super Soul Farm, Madhava is coming.
Woo! So if you don't know Madhava, just YouTube search Madhava,
yeah.
not
This
Madhava's rock
Kirtan
band.
is special. Not Madhava's rock band. No, that's different.
It's also special, but
But
this
he
is
rocks.
different special. Madhava is so good.
You know, he chants the way he chants is he just does one melody and he just gets deep into it. He's not into getting fancy, getting tricky, showing off. No, he's got the faith. It takes faith to do that, right? That I'm
He just
just going to hold
stays
it right
there,
here.
and you feel like, well, I'm going to get boring if he just stays on one melody the entire
No.
time. You don't get bored. You get
No.
lost and transported to some other realm, and you end up floating out of there. You know who's
I'm-
coming? Walter's coming from Youth of Today.
Walter's coming up there.
He's coming up to see Madhava.
Oh, he should come down to the Rath Yatra then too. Or is he on tour right now or something?
No, I don't know.
He's just
He'll
coming up
probably
from
will. He's just
Madhava.
coming for the night. He'll
That's so
probably go
cool.
for the-
When he played there last year,
Madhava.
he had this.
Bring it back to
he was
Madhava.
doing this melody. Then the bass came in. Normally, I don't like bass in kirtan, right?
Oh,
But
really?
this
I sort of do.
but this bass was really kind of it reminded me of some song by Daft Punk, and I went up to but it was really good the way he used it, and I said to him, that sounded like that Daft Punk song. He said, well, I told the bass player, keep it dirty. I said, all right. Well, it worked. Yeah, he's good.
All right, so there's more announcements. Madhava this Thursday. You can just show up. It's donation based, and it's going to be great.
Also, there's Chant Camp Labor Day weekend at Super Soul Farm with Gauravani
And
Oh,
me.
look at
and
that.
Raghunath.
What is going on with her today?
It's at Super Soul Farm. I figured people knew you'd be here.
Yeah,
but,
Super Soul
you know,
Farm.
Yes, I thought you were included in Super Soul Farm.
When is that?
Raghunath, that's Labor Day weekend. So September 1 through 4.
Oh, that's a long way off.
Yeah. And then Raghunath is doing a retreat with Lori Pag the following weekend, September 8th through 10th, if people are interested.
Okay. And I'm going to just remind people, sign up for if you want to. Let's get together in London, June 24th with Vaisheshika Prabhu. Go to my Instagram page or my Facebook page to find that.
We'll get together then, Dad.
No,
We'll have a good time then.
Okay, speaking of good times, who's Walk on Wednesday today, right?
Oh, we got a very special guest today. We have Sage Group AM themselves, Cindy Lunsford and Steve.
Formerly known as Hot Yoga.
Hot Yoga Cindy. We're like, this is X-rated. What's going on?
Hot Cindy.
Hot Cindy. It's
Oh, they got
Hot
matching
Cindy.
Super Souls.
Welcome. Hot Cindy. We've been wanting to look at you for a while.
Raghunath.
Cindy is one of our lead teachers in our teacher trainings in India and in America for Super Soul. And she's just like a dedicated,
Totally dedicated.
totally dedicated. You know, I was just saying yesterday in our introduction, she's just like, if yoga is about transformation, she's just been on this transformational path since I've met her. And I just want to say hi to you. How do you?
Haribol, thank you for having us. We're leading a retreat up at Super Soul right now.
Nice. Now, let's hear more about this Steve. I
Yeah,
haven't
this
met
Steve character, we're trying to figure out. Now, I met Steve in Nepal. He came to Nepal with me, but what's your story? How did you get into Bhakti?
No,
and all that stuff?
did he come with Cindy to Nepal, or did they meet and it was like you made magic happen out there? You made dreams come.
I don't know. Let's find out. Let's get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so hi, I'm Steve Haribol. I heard you on Joe Rogan, and then I started listening to the podcast immediately, and then
Wow.
you announced the Nepal trip, and I signed right
Okay,
up.
so they came separately and they found love in Nepal.
She didn't go to Nepal.
Oh, okay.
Let's keep it going. Let's keep the story going.
And then I was in outside of Nashville, and Raghu told me one day on the show that you were doing a little kirtan in Nashville, and I should come and show up. And I showed up, and it was at Cindy's house. And so we met about a little over a year ago, and
Look at that.
reconnected earlier this year.
So you met at the kirtan I did in Nashville.
No, not really. I mean, he was at my house, but we didn't really meet.
Oh, you mean you were
I mean,
just wandering around her house?
But he noticed you.
How did you miss him? If you were wandering around my house, I'd be like, excuse me.
there's like 35 people there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, there's 35 people, so you could miss him at that point. So you didn't really meet him then.
Not really.
So what? Wait, all right.
Then he came over for
Why am
yoga
I playing
class.
20 questions with how you guys met? Just tell us how you met then. Come closer, Steve. We can't see you.
Okay, so yes, I remember me. No, I'm just kidding. We initially connected on Instagram at that thing, and then I was going to a farm down outside of Nashville, and she saw that I was going there and doing seva for the cows, and you ever go down there again? Why don't we meet up? And
Oh,
we just
okay.
started talking.
It's all built
That'll-
around cow seva.
If you're ever doing seva for the cows, maybe we can serve the cows together.
That old Bhakti pickup line.
Oh, I've used that many times. Oh, you're doing seva for cows? Oh, me too. I always do seva there for the cows. Like what? Like shoveling manure? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Let's do that together. We can both hold the shovel. Anyway, that's beautiful story. And Cindy's coming. She was just here, right? You were just here for the seva weekend. She's here again, leading this retreat with me, which is really nice. We got a huge crowd here, and we're doing our teacher training. You want to talk about the teacher training?
Yeah, so it's with Bobby Marchand and myself and Raghu. and it's 2 weeks in July. I don't have the exact dates on me. Yeah, July 13 to 28. And it's, immersive. So you come, you stay at the ashram. You can commute if you choose to do that. But yeah, 2 weeks, 200 hours. And we're going to cover everything you'd cover in a 200. But the nice thing about working with Raghu is we really dive deeper into bhakti and kirtan, which is really nice.
It's also nice just to not do a teacher training where you're like, okay, I got like 6 hours I'm doing this weekend. And then in 2 weeks, I've got another 6 hours. It's nice to just be like, here you are. It's like you're at university or you're at summer camp and you're just like, you're in it every day. And there's something about being in that container.
Immersion.
Yes, immersive. We're in a container. You sort of like can't get out in a sense. There's no getting out. Because you're left to, because when you do a teacher training, you talk about philosophical concepts, stuff comes up for you and you can't just like, I'm out of here. You have to digest this stuff and work through stuff. And I find it like a great way to teach. And the bigger version of this is our 300-hour in India we do every year. And a lot of you guys here have been there. So anyway, we're looking forward to that. Go to my link tree on Instagram to check that out if you're interested, and do it quick because it's happening in July when we get back from Italy. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks for that beautiful romantic story. Good. Wasn't that sweet?
It's all about the cows.
It's all about the cows.
These cows, Krishna's cows are called kamadhenus, meaning they fulfill all desires.
Yeah. So if you can ask for Krishna prema, love of Godhead, and they'll give you that. Or if you can ask for a boyfriend, they'll give you that too. Okay.
By the way.
No one thought that was funny except Amy Stellar. Thank you. Thank you, Amy, for getting that joke.
Let's get into it, Raghunath. Let's get into it.
Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta prayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavat sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki, by regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotees. All that is troublesome to the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Timarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmadatam Nena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my teachers are opening my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, Text 18.
No.
Text 19.
Yeah, we did 19 yesterday, but I think we want to revisit it.
I thought we wanted to tease out 18. That's why I said 18.
No, tease out 19, I think, isn't it?
Tease out 19. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have these prayers going down.
Who's speaking?
By Lakshmi Devi herself.
The goddess of fortune, the consort of Lord Vishnu. Could you imagine what it'd be like to see Lakshmi Devi, Raghunath?
It's nice to think like that. Like, what would it be?
It'd be very beautiful, I'm sure. You would look at her and she'd just be so beautiful that just looking at her, you just feel totally like satisfied, I think, right? Just like, oh.
Your jaw would drop.
Yeah, it would. And it wouldn't be in a lusty way either. Just be like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Look at her. She's like, wouldn't it? Why are you laughing?
Well, sometimes when you see someone very beautiful, it doesn't matter if they're a man or a woman. Just you're like, wow, wow. You know what I mean? Like, wow.
I think this would be like more
it would
than
be
that,
like
though.
that, but almost like in a transcendental way. Like,
Yeah,
wow. Like. First of
That's
all, there are
most
other
beautiful
worldly
sight
beings.
I've ever seen.
It's not just like that. It's like you're the most beautiful thing I've ever set my eyes on ever.
Yeah.
You make me better person seeing you.
Totally.
So anyway, yes, it would be
She's
quite
praying.
wonderful. And there she is, and she's speaking in beautiful poetry.
She's got a heart full of love for Lord Vishnu, right? And it's
not just pleasing, beautiful
keep it in.
glorifications. It's actually all Sanskrit poems.
Poetry.
when these great,
with wisdom in it, with deep wisdom
yeah,
instilled in it, you know.
yeah. You ever see someone who's very beautiful, but when they talk, it's like, yeah. It's not that. It's, you know,
No, her
it's
voice must be like the most pleasing sound. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
Who could imagine?
yeah.
Hmm.
Sometimes New Yorkers are like that. They're New York accent, even if they're very lovely looking. The accent's so ugly, isn't it? Isn't it? Anyone got that
Yeah,
here?
just let them be. We're earthly beings, Ragnar. That's to be
We're-
expected.
Yeah. My mom's sort of like that, truthfully. I mean, she's
I-
beautiful.
She's beautiful.
I mean, you know what I mean.
I believe you once called her a raisin with legs.
No,
Bejeweled date, I think.
Well, maybe
she's 96 years old. She is a bejeweled date. She is a bejeweled date with legs, but bejeweled dates are sweet.
Okay, good point. All right, let's hear what Lakshmi Devi said yesterday, and let's revisit it. Text 19.
Bejeweled date legs. That's like her body shape too. It's sort of. My dear Lord, you are certainly the fully independent master of the senses.
Okay.
Therefore, all women who worship you by strictly observing vows, because they worship to acquire a husband to satisfy their senses, are surely under illusion.
Okay.
This is a thing in India, right?
Yeah.
People worship the Lord Vishnu. Ladies worship God for a husband.
Girls.
Young girls. There's
Yeah.
penance and stuff like that. Please give me a good husband. By the way, it's a thing, but I'm sure everybody has prayed. I have, truthfully, prayed for a partner.
Okay.
When I was little, at least when I was a child, I would pray because I was Catholic. So I would pray. No
You
one
were
tells
praying
you
for a good
what to pray
wife?
for. They just say pray for stuff. I was like, all right, I pray for a girlfriend. That's what I pray for in
Okay.
honesty.
Well,
So-
according to Lakshmi Devi, you were surely under illusion.
Yes, I was. Because they do not, here's part 2 of this. They do not know that such a husband cannot actually give protection to them or their children.
Okay, so you're thinking, oh, please send me this wonderful partner, but they can't actually deliver, according to Lakshmi Devi.
They can't actually deliver, right? Nor can they protect your wealth or increase your duration of life. For he himself is independent of time, fruitive results, and the modes of nature, which are all subordinate to you. So these are the things that when we look for protection or we look for a partner, you're going to fulfill my senses, you're going to fulfill my heart, you're going to give me some type of security, some stability. No.
Can't they? Can't someone give you some stability? Can't someone protect you?
Relatively, yes. Relatively. Like I always say this, like with children. Like if it's, if you have a little, 6-year-old and the 6-year-old's crying, Mom, come upstairs, while they're in bed, and you say, what's the matter? I think something's in my closet. You're like, no one's in your closet. That is just like a noise. It's like the wind hitting your closet, making it sound like there's a man, or like so. It's just something. It's in your mind. Look, I'm going to turn on the light. See, that's not a person. That's just a coat hanging there, right there. There's some. You have to get rid of the fear of a little child. That being said, when the child is 15, says, Mom, I'm going to a party tonight. You're like, the first thing the mother says or the father says, who's going to be at this party? Are the parents home at the party? Are there older kids coming to the party? Right? Because it goes from everything's cool, you're safe, there's nothing to worry about, to be like, who's coming to this party? Where are you going? Who's driving the car you're in? Who's going to be in that car? Why? Because actually the world is not safe. But we don't want to let little children know that, maybe immediately want to give them some type of stability in this world. But we have to ultimately understand there's an unsafe world out there. And if you have young teenagers, parents are all up in that. So, can a partner, is it safer to go out at night in a big city with a friend? It's safer. Or to backpack around, Thailand or India with a partner, it's safer. Is it ultimately safe? No.
And even that safety is something granted by the supreme controller of all this in one way or another, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes these these Bhagavatam verses are a little jarring, or they ruffle the feathers a little bit, because they challenge us to look at what we've found happiness or security in this world in a different way. And so, and sometimes they'll cut a little bit. So
It
here
cuts
it's
a
saying,
little.
yes, here's saying, oh yeah, you're married to a good husband, you think? Well, I'll tell you what, he can't protect you. Cut, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, it hurts a little.
well, he's a
right?
cop.
It
Nah,
doesn't
means
matter. Cut.
nothing.
Yeah. You know, and it gives 3 disqualifications of why these people can't. And we'll get to that in a second. But, you know, sometimes I think of, in relation to this, we think of Draupadi, right?
Right.
Where there she was, 5 husbands.
The ultimate in protection, not just 5 husbands, her father, who was a king, who was a warrior, her, you know, her, you know, she was in the safety of the court.
Oh, her father had a whole army.
His father had a whole army. All the great sages were witnessing what was going on. You think, well, there's got to be dharma in a court like this where all these sages are here. It seems like the safest place ever.
And 5 powerful husbands.
5 powerful husbands.
One of those husbands should have been enough. 5 powerful husbands.
And still, she was disrobed.
Well, attempted in any case.
Attempted.
She was turning to them, and they could not protect her until finally she called out to the only protector, who's not relative. You know, it's kind of like saying, we're talking last Friday, I think it was, about we were reading from Shakespeare, and we're talking about how like the world is a stage and everybody's an actor on that stage.
Yeah.
So in a sense, what verses like this are telling us is we may have a very nice husband, but ultimately, from a broader perspective, that husband is just one little tiny soul playing a role of husband, playing a role of protector temporarily, but not the true protector. It's someone playing a role. Maybe they're granted a little bit, maybe they're granting a little bit of like protector power, you know, in a very limited way for a very limited time.
It's once again, the Bhagavatam is teaching these big vowels, the big P protector and the little p protector, the small p protector.
And you can respect that small p protector, and you can honor that small p protector, right? It's like you can, hearing this verse doesn't mean that we can't appreciate, we can't respect, we can't honor that person, a person in our life who's a protector. But we're not seeing truth until we zoom out and recognize the broader truth that ultimately the only protector is the supreme protector. That whatever protection someone in this world is able to grant is only granted, you know, another step back.
Sure.
By that supreme protector.
And sometimes there's some plan of fate as well, too. You know, you have some underdog that shouldn't be able to go against this massive army, but sometimes things flip around. You know, like, what? That should have worked. That army should have like demolished the other ones, and the underdog won. Or some, you know, you're attacked by 3 guys, and one and the person getting attacked just beats all 3 of them up. There's something like that. You can't understand. There's ultimately fate playing out, and that fate is the destiny of God, so to speak. And then you're meant to suppose, okay, what does this mean now? What does what happened mean, and what am I going to do with this information now? You know, where am I supposed to grow and go with all this?
Right. And Raghunath, so it's mentioned, Lakshmi Devi mentions here, what's the disqualification of such so-called protectors? There's such, you know, lowercase p protectors. And she says the reason is because they themselves are dependent, or you could say that they are under the control of 3 features of this world that we live in: time, karma, and the modes of material nature, the gunas.
Sure.
Now, it's interesting. I noticed this, Raghunath, because I always share this, you know, in courses that I give, that, you know, first we need to, if we're going to understand who we are and what our situation is, yoga is there to empower us to transcend a trap that we're in, you know, how we're bound in this world. And so we need to understand, how are we bound in this world? What is our predicament? And to begin with, our predicament is that we're this tiny little spark of spiritual energy.
Speck.
It's a little tiny little speck, but that speck is like, it's eternal. It's by nature, that little speck of energy is made of God's energy. So it's very special energy that we are made of. God's, not only God's energy, but God's param prakriti, God's higher energy, God's conscious energy, God's eternal energy, his conscious energy, and his blissful energy. That is our nature. Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, full knowledge, full bliss. That's us. But we've lost touch with that nature because we're identifying with this body that we're in, which includes a very subtle mind. So we're identifying with what's temporary, and we're losing touch with our eternality. We're identifying with that which is ignorant. We're losing touch with our knowledge. We're identifying with that which is painful. We're losing touch with our bliss.
It's such a good, easy to understand idea of what the soul is. I mean, when I grew up Catholic, I've heard the concepts of souls, the soul. We all have a soul, but it's like, what is it? What is it like? I always thought it was like a sort of like a Casper the Ghost thing within me that sort of floats out of my body. Was it right? Yeah. What is like? Yeah. So it's such a simple way to explain. I would love to sit down with whoever's in charge of all the Christians and say,
we can help.
Hear me out on this. We got a good thing. We got a good thing here. It's a soul. It's not a ghostly thing. It's actually just an energetic force that's not just in me, and that's not just in her, and not just in any different race. It's in every living, and it's the symptoms of life.
Yeah.
If it's got symptoms of life, it's got one of these souls.
Right.
You don't have it. It's you.
That's right. And so that's part of our predicament, is our engagement within and our misidentification with the body and the mind. But then we're also moving through a world that's again like a virtual reality. It's like and that virtual, if this world were a virtual reality, like literally, then these three, karma, time, and the gunas, are programs that are downloaded and installed in that world. It's laws that govern this world, right?
Sure. Like I'm playing a pinball machine. That's a virtual reality. I'm going, and I'm shaking, and I'm like getting excited. My heartbeat's racing. Oh, the ball goes down. So there's a number of balls in the pinball machine. Or if I'm playing Frogger, a car's coming, just ran over my frog.
There's certain laws built into the game.
There's laws built in, and then it's like game over.
Okay.
Put another quarter in, stuff like that. So that's the time factor with your life, because we're going through life too, and we're like, whatever, clutching our heart. It's basically game over, Raghunath. You're leaving your body. We all get a game over in this world, isn't it?
Yeah, but time is going to make it that way. So like time has that power to, like, anything we're trying to hold on to, it disappears.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what game over is for us. That's the time factor.
Then you play again.
That's my analogy.
Right?
That's my analogy.
That's why I mentioned that right now. I was connecting it to your point.
Okay. Yes. So let's throw these other ones into the analogy now.
Well, karma means that every move that we make creates a reaction within the game, right?
Let's keep that pinball. How about that pinball? Do you like pinball?
Well, pinball, I think a video game would like Frogger or something.
It is, but like with pinball, you can lock your balls.
But pinball is like you don't feel like you're living in the pinball thing, whereas
you live vicariously in that pinball.
You're
machine.
The ball? No.
Yeah, of course you are. Well,
no, you're hitting the ball.
All right, whatever. Back to Frogger. But there's actually, but pinball, I'd say, because you can lock up your balls, and that's your good karma. You're like, yes. Yes,
well, that's
I
gonna
locked
be there
up all my
Frogger
balls, and now you're going to release the balls, and you're playing like 4 balls, and you're like, ho, 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 and you're very excited. That's called good karma. There's times in our life where we're walking around as if we've got 4 balls.
Yeah, but this karma is like, Raghunath, just control yourself. so
you know what I'm talking about? It's like you're feeling big about life. Everything's going smooth. Everything's going well. Right. But sometimes you play pinball, you shoot that ball, goes up, and it goes, ever do this one? It goes, whoop, and it goes like straight down right between the flippers.
In your flippers, and nothing happens.
Yeah. That's like a little kid dies.
Okay.
And you're like, what the heck? What just happened? This is the your actions, and some reactions are coming. But the interesting thing is the game is the person who's playing that game is eternal can walk right away from the game. You know what? I'm going to have lunch. That person never dies. That game is over.
Okay. But within this world, this karma is like our cosmic sensitivity training, right? It's meant to help.
I like that.
Yeah, it's meant to help.
Cosmic sensitivity training. Did
I
you
like
just
that,
come
right?
up with that, or
It's
did
in
you
the, it's
plan
in the
that
book.
one?
Where I'm putting it in the book right now.
Cosmic sensitivity training. You're good.
Yeah, because it helps train us to if we're inconsiderate, we get a little, something comes back at us, right? If we're
Yeah.
callous, if we're cruel, comes back at us. Or we get rewarded for the opposite, for compassion, for kindness, sensitivity, etc.
Mhm.
And then the gunas, these are like these hidden forces that are affecting our thoughts, our emotions, our decision making, our moods, right?
Which are also
our
coming
clarity,
in to
our
our life
cognitive.
from
Yeah.
from particular karma too, from a previous
Well,
game.
yeah, sure. And so like every object is radiating one of three different energies that's influencing us, our mind to either become more content and
Mhm.
lucid, our mind to become more discontent and feeling the need that I need something I don't have, or darker than that, like a destructive mode, or a lazy or destructive mode. Like these three are these are all programmed into the world that we're moving through, and they're affecting us deeply. A yogi transcends these, right? And so I found another interesting verse, Raghunath.
Tell me.
This is Bhagavatam, first canto, 13th chapter, text 46. This is, excuse me, this is Vidura speaking to Dhritarashtra, his elder brother, the former king, right?
Right. So he's his brother, but he's the good brother. Vidura's the good brother. Dhritarashtra's made
Some big mistakes.
so many bad choices in his
Bad
life, and now
choices.
Vidura's coming back from pilgrimage, and he's
Yeah.
giving him some advice.
And he's saying, you think yourself as the king and the protector and so on. You know what? You're not that. You're old. Nobody. You're not protecting anyone.
This is the one where he starts going through his whole body. Your teeth
Yeah,
are
your
falling
teeth,
out.
the
You're walking with
loose.
the limp. You're one ear's lower than the other. It just goes on and on.
He was cutting, right? And
Keep going.
so this is what he says. He says the same thing here, same point. So he's trying to convince his brother to, like, hey, leave this kingdom and go out and start to practice yoga like intensely in the forest, right? So he says this material body made of the 5 elements, earth, water, fire, air, ether, is already under the control of time, kala, action, karma, and the modes of material nature, the gunas, the same 3, right? How then can it, being already in the jaws of the serpent, protect others? Right? It's like saying, you've been thinking on this relative platform your whole life, I'm the protector. I'm trying to get you to think on the other level now, right? On that absolute platform.
And Vidura, like the Bhagavatam itself, is ushering us towards that bigger view of reality. There's a micro view of reality. Just like when you're driving a motorcycle or driving a car and you're going down windy roads, they always say, like, look as far ahead as you can, because if you look right in front, things could go around the corner. So you try to look as far in the distance when you're, when you're driving. In the same sense, looking right in front of our face, these are important things. I got stuff to do. Got to pick up that kid. Got to drop off that kid. Got to eat some lunch today. But the bigger picture, the Bhagavatam is saying, what's the bigger picture of your life? And what's the bigger picture of your eternal life? That sounds so Christian, your eternal life, but your actual your eternal existence. What are you going to do in this short term that's going to affect the big you?
Right. Right. It's okay. So Lakshmi Devi, just as, in the commentary to this verse, Prabhupada is just like, basically he's saying, anyone that's conditioned, they're living under the full control of the material nature represented by eternal time, karma, and the modes of material nature. He says there are 3 modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. Unless one is situated in the mode of goodness, one cannot see things as they are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The passionate and the ignorant cannot even see things as they are. Therefore, a person who is passionate and ignorant cannot direct his activities on the right path. Only the person in the quality of goodness can help to a certain extent. Right? Can be protected to a certain extent,
Right.
He says most people are passionate and ignorant, and therefore their plans and projects can hardly do any good to others. You know, he's
Whoa,
pushing it.
that's such a good.
He's pushing it, you know, just like Vidur's pushing it, and just like Lakshmi is pushing it. Hey, we are tight. We're not saying that there's not a certain relative vision, that there's a relative truth to, but we're so conditioned to think on the relative plane. We need someone to kind of tear us out of it, rip us, shake us out of it. And so that's what Lakshmi is doing in these prayers. She's saying, you know what, people are praying for a good husband, a good protector. You can't have one in the material world. The real protector is beyond this, you know, beyond the modes of nature, beyond time, beyond karma.
You know, they also like really poke at this concept, like there's security in your wealth. I mean, how many times do you hear about a person who has worked so hard for wealth and just lost all their wealth? Sometimes overnight, sometimes a stock market glitch, and you're like, I've just lost everything. Or a real estate market shifts.
Bitcoin.
Just lost everything. Huh?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin?
I don't even know what it means. I just thrown it out.
Me neither.
We haven't dug into that.
I became a millionaire due to my Bitcoins.
And then it was gone.
And then it was gone. Now I lost everything. It was all just existing in my mind.
Yeah, I never
even
I'll tell you
touched
something.
that Bitcoin.
I tell you something.
I can't even. What?
People that actually play the market and really know this kind of thing, it actually is really like that. Like, 1 minute I'm wealthy because something happened on that stock market and it just made my apparent wealth
portfolio.
Like, and then in a short amount of time, before I even spend it, it's gone. It's like, was I wealthy and now I'm not? What happened? Like, I'm the same exact guy. You know, it's crazy.
So anyway, they poke at that. The Bhagavatam will poke at that. What is there real security in wealth?
Okay. Now
or sometimes we have like a vast amount of wealth, but we get sick and we get very sick, and we're like, okay, it didn't protect me. It didn't, you know, it's going to give me some medical treatment to help me die.
There are people with tons of money. There are people with very powerful bodies. There are people with very powerful positions. They get sick.
Sometimes you see people who are very, very, you know, big, strong, you know, muscle men, and they get sick, or
one little tiny germ,
and their whole body can wither away. So we're not
what kind of protector
relishing that. We're just saying that's a reality, that that our physical strength, our you know, some type of portfolio or our wealth, our resume perhaps, and the world it's delicate. Our existence is delicate. We are like eggs sitting on a spoon with a child, right? Or the child's got a spoon in his mouth with an egg. Ever do this?
Running on bumpy ground,
running through the sand. With our life is like that egg. At any minute, it could just. Maybe sand's not a good analogy.
No, because
running
softer.
Running through pebbles barefoot, with an egg on a spoon in our mouth.
On a road full of potholes.
A road full of potholes with an occasional snakes and alligators and venomous spiders.
Right, throw that in there.
And that's our life. That's our life.
Okay. Now let's check.
Good morning, everybody.
She's gonna go.
Here's a happy thought for you.
She's gonna go deeper into this in text 20.
Okay, here's text 20. He alone, talking about Lord Vishnu, he alone is who is never afraid, but who, on the contrary, gives complete shelter to all fearful persons, can actually become a husband and protector. So this is an interesting thing. This is this quality that one gets as they evolve. What are the symptoms of one advancing in their spiritual practice? Anxiety minimizes.
Mm-hmm.
They become fearless. Why? Because there's a full understanding that I'm fully protected. Nothing can happen to me. Nobody can hurt me. That I was saying this yesterday, like, no one can hurt you unless you allow them to hurt you. If you have full faith in Lord Krishna, there's no more anxiety. You become like fearless. You're like, nope, you can't hurt me. But even if we take away your body, even if you take away my body, what could happen? It's a pretty amazing state of being. Fear is actually a mental concoction.
It is.
Interesting?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
It is.
I mean, here's a good
example.
You're
out of touch. It means you're out of touch with the fundamental reality.
Here's a good example. You're on a high dive, and you're you're looking over a diving board, and you're crying. Why are you crying? Nothing happened. Nothing actually happened. You're just standing on this thing. Why? It's mental. Fear is a mental concoction of what could happen. We live in a world what if this happened?
But don't people sometimes fall off those things and hurt themselves?
Yeah, and break their neck. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's a good maybe that fear is a good thing. No, the idea is though, but we're living with this on a regular basis. We live in a world of what if this happens?
Yeah.
And that's enough to wreck your day, your week, your month, your life.
Thank you, Rogan.
Thank you. All righty.
Let's continue with this verse.
Continuing on. Therefore, my Lord, you are the only husband, and no one else can claim this position. If you were not the only husband, you'd be afraid of others. Therefore, persons learned in all Vedic literature accept only your lordship as their master, and they think no one else a better husband and protector than you.
There you go.
My dear Lord, you automatically fulfill all the desires of a woman who worships your lotus feet in pure love. However, if a woman worships your lotus feet for a particular purpose, you also fulfill those desires. But in the end, she becomes brokenhearted and laments.
She's got such a perspective.
This is interesting. This is a great thing. So you also grant in the material desires. You give us the highest shelter, but you also give things that are lesser. You want something, then those are also given by God. But you got to understand, they all lead you. Getting your desires fulfilled in this material world, not perfect. There's a little problem there. They're all temporary. They're time bound. They go away. They melt. They break.
And
go into my basement. Go in my basement. There's tons of toys downstairs.
Okay.
There's tons of toys that the kids really wanted. Please get me this. Please get me this. Please get me this. Now they're all broken. And and that's part of the material world. Things break. Things fall apart. Things disintegrate. Things die. There's nothing more sad than the dog that you love. Poor Gus, the guy's getting old. And there's going to be a very sad day when Gus dies, and that's part of the material world. It's a world of heartbreak.
Okay. So she says you fulfill those desires as well, but those desires are leading ultimately to a broken heart and to lamentation. Therefore, one need not worship your lotus feet for some material benefit. This is the truth. This is the higher teaching of the Vedic literature, right? That we shouldn't even, not only should we not desire the things of this world, because ultimately they lead to brokenheartedness and lamentation, we shouldn't even desire moksha. Right? We shouldn't even desire like relief from the suffering of this world. She's operating from the platform of bhakti, of divine love. She's got she's got the clear perspective here.
Again, the Bhagavatam is ushering us towards higher choices. It's always saying, there's other choices are there. There's some bad choices. Careful of those bad choices. Those are going to get you nothing but
There's
trouble.
some choices that are relatively better.
Some better ones. There's some other better choices you can have, but it's going to keep on goading us towards the highest choice.
Okay.
Goad, like that word.
All right. Text 23.
Don't goad me.
Oh, no. Text 22. I'm goading you, right? And we're goading you to the next.
Text 22.
Yeah.
Goad or usher. Usher is my new word. Usher. It's like goad. It's
goad is a little pokier.
Goad's a little pokier. Yeah. O supreme unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as well as other demigods and demons, undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet, because I always keep you within my heart.
Oh.
I cannot favor anyone but a devotee.
I would love to see her offering these prayers.
Lakshmi, well, make that your prayer. Your prayer is to see Lakshmi offer these prayers. You will get that, Kastuba.
Okay, we'll get that.
I give you that benediction.
Thank you. Well, she's giving, again, here's another example, as we're going to find throughout the Bhagavatam. Throughout the text is meant to clarify everything, where it's like, oh, I worship Lord Shiva, or I worship Lord Brahma, I worship one of these higher living beings as a supreme. Lakshmi Devi is trying to help us understand more clearly. No. They pray to me, right?
Right.
And I choose who I benedict and in what way, according to whether how they conceive of you, right? And she becomes particularly attentive. She says, "But I do not favor anyone, however great they may be, right, in material estimation, unless they're always engaged in the service of your lotus feet, because I always keep you within my heart. I cannot favor anyone but a devotee." Wow. Okay.
What text? Let's do one more text. 23.
23.
Oh, infallible one. Right? We're
Yeah.
fallible.
He's
It's
infallible.
only Lord Vishnu's infallible. Oh, infallible one, your lotus palm is the source of all benedictions. Sometimes you see Lord Vishnu going like this.
Well, he's usually got something in each of his hands.
Blessings.
Yeah.
Your lotus palm is the source of all benedictions. Therefore, your pure devotees worship it, and you very mercifully place your hand on their heads. Right? That's like an Indian thing, isn't it? Here you go. There, blessings. You very mercifully place your hand on their heads.
Now imagine what that feels like. Imagine what that to have Lord Vishnu put his hand on your head.
Like, how did my hand feel? Reasonably good.
Reasonably
Yeah, Mara
good.
says good. Mine was reasonably good.
It felt a little clammy.
Vishnu's, it must be like, well, first of all, it's a Shakti pot going on. It's a transfer of Shakti from one to another. Right?
It didn't say anything about any Shakti pot.
That's what it is.
It didn't say
That's
anything
what
about
it
Shakti
is.
pot.
You got to know
just
these
threw
things,
that out there.
Kastuba. The touch of people. Come on, you know this. You used to go out and distribute books on the street. Hey, if you want to buy a book, and you shake their hand. You ever shake too many people's hands?
Oh, you get a
and
little
you
sick.
take on a little of their karma, and you get like nightmares, or
You're
you
very
get sick.
sensitive to these things, right?
I'm very, very sensitive. You take on that energy of that person.
Right.
Unless you're very powerful, then you give your energy. But otherwise, you're messing around with a lot of people's subtle energy, for sure. Don't let people who are murderous touch you on the forehead like that. You don't want that Shakti, right? You let the devotees give you blessings, here, blessings. But imagine the Shakti coming from Lord Vishnu's hand, just touching your head, Kastuba. Enlightening you, opening your third eye, which is like
that's not
closed with
mucus. There's no mention of the third eye here.
Just roll with me, man. There's a third eye.
I'm looking concerned with what you're rolling.
There's a third eye.
Okay.
Why do you gotta block me on everything?
Okay. Let's keep hearing more about this. This is a great verse. I'm loving it.
Oh, infallible. The lotus palm is the source of benediction.
Even that, it must be fragrant.
Potentially
even
opening
that
a
palm.
third eye. Therefore, your pure devotees worship it, and you very mercifully place your hand on their heads. I wish that you may also place your hand on my head. For although you already bear my insignia of a golden streak on your chest, right? There's a little streak on Lord Vishnu's chest that represents Lakshmi. Yeah, Srivatsa. I regard this honor as merely a kind of false prestige for me. You show your real mercy to your devotees, not to me. Of course, you are the supreme absolute controller, and no one can understand your motives.
Wow, he's deep.
It's deep.
Very deep.
It's 6:57. We got to get going, my friend.
All right.
There's a lot here. So much here.
Mara?
So much. Mara, now's the time of the show where we turn to Miss Mara, who it seems like she's knitting. She's actually deeply thinking and petitioning the message board to give us takeaways for the show. She's thinking of like, what are essential truths, essential nuggets, truths, takeaways, goodies that we can carry with us through the course of the day when things get tough or something to remember, right? What do you got for us, Miss Mara?
I got good stuff today, actually.
All right.
God is the only real protection.
Okay.
Yeah.
We are all bound by time, gunas, and karma.
Tied up.
That's a name of a metal band.
What?
Bound by
gunas.
Bound by time. What was that?
Yeah.
Bound, time, gunas.
Karma.
Bound by karma. That'd be a good one.
Karma to burn.
Karma to burn. That was a band.
Third eye blind.
Third eye blind. Okay.
We do not have a soul. We are a soul.
Thank you.
We all get a game over.
We all get a game over.
Right.
You're just not thinking like it's going to be today. It might be today. The ball might go up and right down between the flippers.
Karma is cosmic sensitivity training.
Yeah.
Go.
The stupa.
Bhagavatam pokes at our idea of security.
Poke.
Our life is an egg on the spoon of a toddler.
On a
Running in the
potholed
gravel.
road full of snakes and scorpions or something.
And small caiman alligators.
The material world is a world of heartbreak.
Oh, lamentation, heartbreak.
A little heartbreak. Ever get your heart broken, Kostuba?
Oh, a little bit.
Serious. Come on. Have you?
I'm telling you.
I want to hear the
Want to
story.
tell a story or something?
Yeah, I
You're
wanna
waiting
hear
for me to open up or something?
You can share with me. Unless you want to do it privately, we can do it privately.
Okay.
Bhagavatam
So that you could joke about it later on the show.
Publicly.
Yeah. Bhagavatam goads us towards making higher choices.
Coding us, poking
Go
us.
to it.
And
Yeah.
there's times where we're walking around like we've got 4 balls.
Oh, Mara, you went low.
Mara.
Mara,
It's
Mara, I'm
pinball.
disappointed.
Could I have said 6 balls?
I thought
Can't walk away with that.
I thought. How about this? Cow
I didn't
seva
mean
works.
it that way.
You know, but still, then you like giggled about it for about like
What was funny
60 seconds.
after I said it?
I think cow seva works. How's that one?
How about cow seva? Yeah. Worship cows. Find a partner
For the love connection.
for the love connection. Hey, there's still room to join me in India, October 16th. This trip is almost filled up, going to all holy cities all over India. Go to raghunath.yoga for more info. We're hoping to see you this weekend at Rath Yatra. Wisdom
I
the
think
Sages
there's
having
probably still a
whole-
few spots there, right?
Yeah, go to bhakticenter.org, check out that, and you can see us in person. You can meet Kostuba in person. You can go right up to him and give him a hug.
Oh.
You can go up to Miss Mara, give her a hug. You can come up to me, give me 2 hugs. I'll hug you both. Hug you. I'll hug Mara, Kostuba, and whoever wants to hug us. Remember, if you're coming to Rath Yatra, bring some cookies. Bring some cookies or muffins, but no eggs, and preferably vegan. And then we can give them out per shot at our table. We're gonna sit at our table. We're gonna have a Wisdom of the Sages table. We're gonna sit around and we're gonna sing songs. We're gonna chant together. Isn't that a great idea?
Pig Family Bhakti is going to be there.
Yeah, there's gonna be. Yeah, Henry's gonna be there. Paramananda's gonna be there. Mara's gonna be there.
You got to get Walter to come for that.
All right, I'm on it. And Sweet Banjo Mike, Michelle Berger get initiated. They're gonna have new names.
Oh yeah.
Although I think it's gonna be hard to get a better name than Sweet Banjo Mike.
Sweet Bhajanananda.
Sweet Bhajanananda. How about Madhur Banjo?
Madhu Bhajan. Madhu
Madhu
Bhajan.
Bhajan.
Madhu Bhajan. Oh, that's a
That's a great name. Madhu Madhava. Madhu Madhava is a great name. The sweetest of the sweet. Madhu Madhava. Hey, also this Thursday, speaking of sweet things, Madhava is going to be here at Super Soul Farm. If you ever want to come up for a day, you can't. You can come up for the evening though. You have a retreat. You can't just show up here. Oh, Krishna. Emails at supersoultrainings@gmail.com.
We rocking those dirty bass lines for the.
It's kirtan, not a dirty bass line. People,
Yeah,
you're
he
going to
said
mislead
that.
people. I know you're going to mislead people. It's just a regular kirtan.
It's a regular kirtan with a dirty bass line.
Well, all right, it's got a dirty bass line. You don't notice that when it's all in the mix.
I totally noticed it. He did too.
Well, you do because you're like an aficionado of dirty bass lines.
Anyone would
Most
notice
people-
that dirty bass line.
I didn't notice it. I've heard him many times play
How could you not notice it?
because I'm not looking for it.
It was.
I'm looking
it
to
was.
hear the
it
holy
was entering
name.
the minds and the hearts of everybody there.
Oh, all right. So we're about to have a satsang, another satsang on top of this satsang. Wish y'all were here with us, but there's a lot of people here. Cody's here, Bunky's here,
He's there.
Amy Steller's here, the Russell family. Remember the Russells?
Yeah.
Russell kids are all here.
They're all,
And
are
their
they there right
mom.
now? I need to see the kids. I haven't seen
Okay,
them in
kids,
years.
you're not gonna believe how big these.
I used
kids
to. Tell me the girl's name again. We used to be buddies.
are. You're like, no, we weren't.
We were.
She's got another story.
Hey,
We used to be buddies when you were just little at the Eco Village. You remember?
I'm Eleanor.
This is little Eleanor. Look out.
Do you remember Eleanor?
I'm the older one. I'm older than. I'm the middle child.
You were still little. You were still little Eleanor back
Were
then.
you the little one that I was hanging out with? I think you were, right?
Probably.
At the Eco
'Cause
Village.
Amelia was like really.
Yeah, I don't know. We hung out, you and me. You don't remember, but I'm like the super soul here. You don't remember me, but I'm your old friend.
Okay.
Good to see you again.
Yeah, we had the kids. It was a good kid year that year. Just running around that place for a month.
The pool, throwing people
What
in
do
the
you
pool.
remember? What do you remember the most?
Well, I remember one time we went to a place where there was like a big rock and we had to like do like some exercise in circles around the rock on like a pad.
Oh, that's the Govardhan Hill.
The Govardhan. We bowed down around the Govardhan Hill. It wasn't really an exercise. It was more like a prayer, but you could call it. You could call
I
it.
remember it like that
Okay.
because some people were struggling.
Somebody was struggling. It was exercisey. It was okay. Good to have you, Eleanor. It's a beautiful day for a beautiful day. Let the magic continue to flow. Howdy bo.